Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to City Season. Very happy to be back. I know it's been a long time since I've been making videos, but honestly, it's been a little slow in Niners news, so I wanted to wait until the draft is over, and it is over. It's the end of the third day, which means rounds 4 and 7 are done, which means the draft is complete, and we're starting to sign some free agents, those who were not drafted in the draft. So let's get into the picks. First and foremost, I think this was a great draft by the Niners. Let's just talk about the trade that we did in round 1, going from 2 to 3, getting a 3rd and a 4th round pick this year, just for going back one spot. I don't know if we were going to take Mitch Trubisky, but I'm happy that we didn't, and it was well worth it. We got who we wanted. We did get Solomon Thomas with that 3rd overall pick in the draft. He's a local kid, came out of Stanford, and he even took a class with John Lynch, which was pretty cool. Just by looking at his interviews, I did like his character. I think he's a really high character guy. He presents himself in a really great way. He's young. He's only 21 years old. He's going to turn 22 in the middle of next season. And I think he is a great guy. He's going to fit in our new 4-3 system. We're going to need to load up our front 4. And honestly, like, defense wins championships. We don't have a lot of guys who are going to create pressure. We've got a young Armstead, we've got a young Buckner, and I think adding him to the mix is going to be huge, along with our veteran play as well. So great pickup. Moving on to our second pick in the draft. It was really nice that we got back into the first round, even though it was 31st overall, nonetheless, and I'm really glad that we picked up Reuben Foster, and I think he's going to be the steal of the draft. Honestly, I had him in my top 5 and top 10. Like, he's a great player. He did have a couple off the field issues, but let's not worry about that. I watched his interviews. He said this is a new leaf. This is a whole new chapter for him. He went through a lot of adversity growing up and in college, so I think it's great that we picked him up. And when I was watching his interviews, it was cool to see that he actually admired Patrick Willis, and he said this before and after he was drafted with the Niners, so he's not just BSing. I think he's going to be a great fit. He can go sideline to sideline. He's got top end speed, and he can hit the correct way, and he can hit you in the mouth. And I think he's going to be a really good player for years to come. All right, guys, I'll be really honest. I didn't know too much about Ahkello Witherspoon going into the draft, but I do like that he's 6'3", he's fast, he's got all the tangible assets. It's just a matter of putting it together, and I think picking him up in the 3rd round is huge. Just looking at who the Niners usually draft, especially in terms of corners and safeties, they're usually small guys, 5'10", 5'11". He's 6'3", he's a big lanky guy, and that's going to be something very similar to what they had in Seattle. Already going from a 3-4 to a 4-3, we're going to have a very similar scheme to what our defensive coordinator did run in Seattle. So we're going to need really big lanky corners, and I think this is a good pickup for the Niners, and let's see how he pans out. Again, we did find ourselves back into the 3rd round. I think it was cool that we picked up a quarterback. I wasn't too sure about who this guy was. I'm going to be real honest. I know that he had a very successful 2015 season, CJ Beathard. I know that's when his team was competitive, and that's when they were in the Rose Bowl. However, I didn't know too much about him, just point blank. So I went and watched his tape. My brother called me up and said, "Hey, what do you think about our new quarterback?" And I was like, "New quarterback?" And honestly, I had no idea. I was in the bathroom, and he was like, "Yeah, we moved back into the 3rd round and picked him up." So he told me to watch the tape, and I watched the tape, and I was pretty impressed. He hit all his guys in stride. I know highlights are a lot different than watching like a full game. That I'm gonna have to get into. But from what I see, honestly, I think it's good that we did pick up a guy like this. I wanted to personally pick up Brad Kaya out of Miami. I think he would have been a good fit just because he's had 3 different offensive coordinators in similar pro-style systems, and he's shown that he can adjust. So I'll do a little bit more research into CJ, but I think it's a great pick. We're going to have to definitely groom him as a developmental quarterback, especially with Hoyer and Barkley as our 1-2 punch. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the future, but as of right now, definitely a quarterback that we're going to have to groom. So there you have it, guys. I just wanted to go over a few picks. I didn't want to go into every single person that we drafted. We drafted 10. I can go into every single pick, but I don't know if you're interested in me talking about our 7th or 6th round picks. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Great draft. Super excellent draft. I think they really nailed it. But honestly, it could look good on paper, but hey, let's see how it pans out. Got the 27 season coming up soon. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for supporting City Season.